So you want to hire an estimator for your construction business, but you feel it's almost impossible. Well, the truth is it probably is, because most estimators are going to cost you between $80,000 and $100,000 a year. Now you might be thinking, oh my gosh, like I'm a smaller contractor, I'll never be able to afford that. And the truth is that most construction companies will never, ever be able to grow, because there's this river that you have to cross in order to grow your construction business. And the truth is that most contractors are in what I call the vicious cycle. So step one of the vicious cycle is, you want to win more projects, so you have to bid more jobs. Then you get to step two where you say, you know what, in order to bid more jobs, I don't have time, so I have to hire an estimator. But then you say, in order to hire an estimator, I have to win more jobs to pay for their salary. And then the circle gets right back to where you were in the beginning, where you say, I'm too busy and I can't bid more jobs. And that's why we see that most construction companies are struggling, where they can never really grow. Like if you're doing residential projects, if you're doing commercial projects and you're like on the smaller side, you might have to look at your business to see if maybe this is where you're at. The truth is that most contractors are missing out on $200,000 a month or more in project contracts, which translates to $1.2 million per year, and simply because of time. And they can't bid more jobs, they can't grow their business. So in order to grow a construction company, there's two things that have to be present. One, you have to have a steady stream of leads coming in the door. And two, you have to have a way to bid those jobs so you can estimate and bid those jobs and win them. That's it. That's the secret to growing a construction company. But in order to do that, you have to have someone to estimate those jobs. So Daniel, how do I grow my construction business if I'm a one-man operation? How do I do it? Well, I'm glad you asked. This is actually my specialty. In our training program, we always talk about, this is you, right? This is you, and you're currently doing the estimating, the leads, the sales. You're out there doing the billing, the accounting, supervising. You're picking up the materials. You're doing the materialist. You're doing the estimate. You're doing everything. And what happens is, in order to grow your business, you have to start delegating key parts. You have to start assigning an estimator, project manager, a superintendent, a general superintendent, an accounting person. You have to get someone to manage the office manager. There's a couple of people that have to come in place, but the thing is that it doesn't have to be overnight. This is something we can build off of. One way to get your team in place is not necessarily to hire a bunch of employees, but the point is to have the key people in place. So for example, you don't have to go hire an attorney, pay them a $300,000 a year salary. You can get on a retainer with an attorney. For example, you don't have to go and hire an estimator and go pay $100,000 a year salary, or you can outsource your estimating to a company like ours, where we can get you the leads, do your prospecting, estimate the jobs for you, so it could free you up to go do other things. That's one of the strategies that we always show our clients. Now, what does it actually cost to hire an estimator? So there's a few things to consider. And truthfully, it's a nightmare. So you got to think twice if you really want to do this. So step one is you have to spend the time to actually go on Indeed or recruiting. You have to go and interview a bunch of people and see who says they know how to estimate, because people actually always tell the truth on their resumes and stuff like that, right? You got to see what their credentials are. This isn't always the case, but in my experience, the best estimators are not people that actually went to construction management school. Some people are going to get pissed off at me for saying that, but the truth is that I've been in the industry and I've hired and fired and tried and trained, and the best guys that are the best estimators actually were not construction management guys. These are guys that learned the industry, learned the trade. One of my senior estimators actually went to school for video production, believe it or not. But he's been in the industry, in the construction industry, for 12 years, and he knows probably even more than me. And that's how I like it. I like when people know more than me, because then I get to learn from them. So I hope that you guys have the same attitude when it comes to hiring these people. So you want to hire people that know what they're doing. So I'll give you an example of when hiring an estimator doesn't always work. So one of my first hires ever, it was a guy that had a civil engineering degree, a civil engineering bachelor, and a construction management master's degree. So to be honest, I'm an architect. Like, that's my background. This degree that you see right over here, that's a bachelor in architecture, not in construction. I'm an architect by nature, but I got into construction. And so I learned all this stuff by being a superintendent, by being a project manager, by learning how to estimate. A lot of this stuff is like figuring it out the hard way. And the truth is that the best people to learn from are those who have been there, done that, and that have figured things out the hard way. So one of my first hires had a master's degree in construction management. And when he came in the door, the truth is that I was concerned that he might learn my business and take it and do his own and become a competitor. For that 1 week that he worked with me, there's a few red flags that popped up. He actually asked me, Daniel, what is a baseboard? And I go, no. There's no way that this guy went to construction management school and doesn't know what a baseboard is. So I was like, oh, maybe they call it something else from his country, because he was from another country. Then he's working on a painting project, very easy project. And he asked me, how do I know the heights of the walls? And I said, you look at the ceiling plan and you look at the sections to determine that. And he's like, oh, okay. And it looked like he had like a blank stare on his face, like he didn't know what I was talking about. And then the third one is he was estimating a garage. And so garages obviously have to have a slab of concrete for obviously the car and the weight of the cars. He was estimating wood framing and acoustical ceilings inside of a house. When have you seen acoustical ceilings in a house? Or when have you seen that wood framing can support a 3-ton car? Or I don't know how much cars weigh. And it didn't work out too well. So that was not actually the first person that I figured out that construction management degrees don't necessarily mean that you're an expert. And so after that, I started noticing a pattern that every time I talked to somebody that was in a construction management scenario, they weren't always the best guys. And I started really figuring out that the best guys are either self-taught, they've been in the trenches and they're learning, or have I trained them myself? Because one thing I'm very good at is I'm very good at training in estimating. So one of my guys, he was also an architect. I trained him up from basically zero. Now he's one of my senior estimators. Another one of my guys didn't come from a background of construction at all. Another one is a video production guy. So the truth is that hiring an estimator can be a nightmare because you got to train them, you got to spend time. But if you do decide to hire and train somebody, it's not always going to be a construction management guy. It could be someone that's in a completely different field, but if they're willing to learn, those are the guys you want. Now, so the reason I mention all this is because one of the ways to get out of this vicious cycle is to outsource your estimating. So again, this is not a sales pitch, but if you find yourself in that trap where you're like, man, I want to bid more jobs, but I don't have time, I don't have the payroll, I want to hire someone, then me and my team are here to serve you. We're here at your full disposal where you can have full access to me and all my guys. So how are you bidding your projects? Are you doing it yourself? Do you have a team? Are you outsourcing it? Let me know in the comments below and let me know how you're doing it. All right, so if you want to grow your construction business, if you want to take it to the next level, I want to show you exactly how to do that. We do two things and we do two things well. One, we train contractors, and two, we can handle your leads and your estimating for you. So if you're interested in learning more about working with us, right below, there's going to be a link in the description where you can click there and you can learn more. It's going to take you to a video where you're going to see step by step on how to work with us. Whether you want training and you want training for you and your team, or you might say, you know what, I want somebody to just do my estimating and my leads for me. I just want to focus on running the construction business. So if that's you, go ahead and click below. Let's talk. And I look forward to helping you grow your construction business.